I was reading your race or your write up on the swim, and it's a 23K swim, but took you 40 kilometers of swimming to get across it because of the tides. And can you give people a little bit of a background on the challenges of the swim? Because you look at that and think 23Ks, okay, it's a long distance, but how does it turn into 40Ks, and what's that experience like?
I think it probably goes to show that like no two Cook Strait swims are the same. So there was a couple of swims on the Tuesday before we did our swim, and I think they did about 10 kilometers less swimming than I did.
Wow.
But I think the tides just do what they do. I don't think we were expecting the tides to be that strong. But as soon as we hopped in, I think we covered about 7 kilometers in that first hour, and we went like directly south. And then we sort of got stuck swimming on the spot for like an hour and a half before we sort of like then moved north. So definitely not a straight line across that piece of water.
Yeah, what did you think when you saw that you heard that you'd swum 7Ks in the first hour? Were you thinking, "Oh, this is great," or like you knew that was the tides doing their thing?
Oh, it was quite fun, like, and it was awesome that we were sort of going that quickly. I think.
Did you feel it?
Yeah, I think you do. Obviously, you don't know that you're going that fast, but when Phil did tell us, and I was like secretly hoping that it was kind of pushing us quite the way across the Strait, but it was just going south, really.
Yeah. And what about the lead up to the swim? So you were planning to do the swim in around, I think, February, and you just didn't quite get a window for it. So then you had to continue your training for another month or month and a half. And how did you go mentally, just keeping that training going over the time where you just had to wait for another window?
Yeah, so all my training, I sort of peaked around mid-January, like did a lot of mileage over the Christmas period. And we're doing some really big weeks then, sort of 50K-ish. And then sort of tapered for sort of Waitangi weekend, which in New Zealand sort of start of February. That was when our window was. And we're all like super excited to do the swim, and it looked like there was going to be a day that we could do it. And then like the afternoon, evening before, the forecast had changed, and the forecast was for the sea to be getting rough in the evening. So the swim was off. And I think Phil at the time just said, you just maintain the training, but don't do anything crazy, like don't do big stuff. And so to start with, I was fine. I think I was sort of, keeping it probably about 30K weeks. But then I sort of slowly like slackened off a bit, and it sort of ended up being quite an extended taper. And I was also back working at that time. So, it gets to be a bit of a chore a little bit, going, I've got to keep my training going. But, not knowing when you're going to swim.
Yeah, that's right. Like it's not like you've booked an Ironman or booked Rottnest Channel or anything where you've got this set date. It's like you've just got to keep it ticking over. And especially with like 30Ks, it's quite a few hours a week in the pool. It's and when you're doing that kind of training, it's more just for distance than anything, isn't it? So it's like it can be a sort of pretty boring way to train in many ways, where you just know you've got to do the distance.
I try to mix it up a little bit. So try to, like, the pool stuff's quite good for getting your speed, but I do like doing a good amount of training in the ocean, especially those big weeks that are getting some fun ocean swims in. But I suppose when I'm working, I've got quite a bit of my training happening in the pool, and so doing more stuff in the pool than in the ocean sort of can get a bit tedious.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to do it.